Yo, what is up, everybody? We are live for another episode of the WrestleSense podcast. Going to talk some wrestling here where everyone has your own WrestleSense. Like who you want to like, hate who you want to hate, cheer who you want to cheer, boo who you want to boo. And don't let anybody tell you any otherwise. Be the type of fan you want to be, and it's a great time to be a wrestling fan. We got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about here tonight. Of course, we couldn't do it without you in the live chat. Wally. Solo Seasons in the house as well. Crushing Kelly, good to see you. Thank you for the shares, the likes. Lady Devil's in the building as well. Good to see you. So, well, in and out of the ring news once again this week. And we're going to start with some news technically out of the ring, but it's part of the ring. Let's bring on the Doc. What is happening?
What's up, brother? How's it going?
Nothing. Got a weird selection of information to give the fans here tonight, and I know you want to talk some local stuff. We'll do that towards the end there and make sure everybody knows what's going down.
I just announced the show. It's not a big deal, really.
In the air, I didn't even realize there was one this weekend.
Yeah.
But we will talk local wrestling here in the beginning of our show before we get into the Six Senses. Let's get right into it. Earlier today, PWI 500 came out this morning. I miss having the magazine. I want to go freaking find one just to buy one.
I know, though, the magazines were so amazing, especially when they release every month. Before the internet, before you kids had all these internet jargon, we would go buy Pro Wrestling Illustrated. It had great posters. It had centerfolds. It had articles. It had, like, house show, results. It was amazing.
I like the rankings. Is always my favorite. I always love the rankings in the different federations because you don't get to see. Back then, we only saw one or two people on TV, not too many shows. And the 500 is always somewhere where I find new people to be a fan of.
Yes, exactly.
So many people I didn't know existed. I'm thinking, now I'm seeing this name a bunch of times.
Lady
Go on YouTube and look them up and find them up. Yeah. So a friend of the show, obviously, made it once again. I was waiting for his post. I was like, Rev, I know you're on it somewhere. And I dug to try to find it, but he moved up 18 spots, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, he did. I was so happy for the Rev Ron Hunt. When you talk about the local guys here that put their nose to the grind, Ron Hunt is definitely the definition of that. So kudos to my brother, my Disney brother. Nothing but love, kid. And I know that Daisy Duck is ready for you next time you go to Florida.
And we talked about it last year, too. The number doesn't matter. It's the recognition of being in this list, especially if you're an indie guy. That's huge.
Yes. I mean, if you look at it, Facade made it. I thought that was awesome. Shane Taylor made it
the last couple of years. Facade said he was working to get back in there.
The great kaiju himself, O'Shea Edwards, was in it. He was in the 300s. I mean, I'm excited for whoever has made it. I mean, those are the ones I've discovered so far. I know there's probably more in there, but my God, just the simple fact is to be part of that 500.
Yeah,
it's just an honor. I wish they would do commentator ones. I probably wouldn't place Tony Wood, but it's just, I'm telling you, man, Kincaid's on a tear right now. So God bless.
Let's look even closer into this, though. I mean, we're comparing numbers where, like I just said, the numbers don't matter. But Ron Hunt up there with some Dijak, but I think he's way better than Cheeseburger or Danhausen. Overall, he would whoop either of their asses. But that's, like I said, that's such a great fucking accomplishment. And Rev's had Revy 5 belts for how long? 4 belts, and not just in this area, but he spreads his wings. And really love to see him on TV more than just we did see him in Raw. Was it last year?
Yeah, he was a paramedic, of course. I want to say something while I'm looking at this article. If you look at this article, there are 2 other talents, actually 3 other talents that I recognize right off the bat that I feel could be in the PWI 500. J-Rock being one of them. As much as he hates me, this guy that despises me, I get it. Damian Chambers, who's a phenomenal talent. If you've not seen the Damian Chambers match, he'll actually be at RWA this Saturday. So I'm really looking forward to calling his match. He's amazing. And, of course, they talk about how he claimed the KSW Tag Team Championships, KSWA Tag Team Champions with Joshua Kavad. And one thing about Kavad, I feel that he is very underrated. I feel that, he should be, he is just, how can I put when you describe Kavad, it's like taking Christopher Daniels and just making a whole new hybrid and hyping it up like 100%. He has that DNA X division background about himself, and him and Ron Hunt they're called the Apex. they make a phenomenal tag team, and that's why they have gold today. So it's really cool to see these three talents that I have had the honor of calling numerous matches for in this paragraph about the Rev Ron Hunt.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, like you said, when we get to see the whole 500, I'm sure there might be a couple more local names in there as well.
Yeah, I definitely want to search it one day.
So here's the top six. Obviously, the big news is the Shield sitting at top with no 1, 2, and 3. Gunther, Vikingo, and MJF. You got a problem with the top 6 at all? I mean, I'll take Seth over Roman based on Seth's character development and the matches he's had. Roman, not as much match-wise to look at.
The top 6, if I'm looking at that top 6, Reigns is going to 5. Gunther is going to 1.
1. Okay.
Yes, over Seth Rollins. I think Gunther should be number 1. I think number 2 should be MJF. Mox number 3. Number 4, let's give it to Reigns. And from there, Vikingo.
Well, here's the rest of the top 10 so you can get an idea. Okada came in at 7, Cassidy at 8, Josh Alexander getting a big nod there at 9, and Cody at 10. So,
I mean, if you look at all these guys, I mean, they've all done something for their company that
this last year they've been phenomenal.
Yes.
You can't argue
simple
with any
fact.
of them.
Orange Cassidy, I'm so happy for.
Yeah.
I'm ecstatic for Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy gave that belt. That's now the number 2 belt in AEW. Not the tag team titles. No, that one. He gave that prestige. He gave it so much, especially the way he defended it.
Big shout out to Andy Price showing up in the chat. Azrael is here. We got my boy AK and NFL Reality Check, part of the Hardcore Sports Network. Good to see you.
Oh, Atticus, can he help me with fantasy? No, I'm just joking.
No, I doubt it. No, AK's smart dude. Here's a hot take. I'd place OC over Roman. Hey, we've talked about that.
Yes.
Last year, who had a more impressive title reign and
Atticus, I'm with you on that one. I'm with you because Orange put so much more work in than Roman. I'm not saying Roman hadn't put work in. He did. But my God, Orange Cassidy has put in the work. I mean, look at that interview on Wednesday. I'm tired. That's all he said.
Yeah.
I don't blame him.
Clever. Very clever. I think I got a little more in here before we go to the sixth senses here tonight.
That's real.
What? Oh, here's for 11 on. Masha Slamovich. I mean, I've heard of her. I've never seen her fight. I think she's in NWA, I believe she was in. She got 5th, the highest ranked woman of the year.
She's making an impact. I mean, what can I say about her? I mean, I see article upon article upon article about this woman. So
I think Rhea would be number 1 as far as the women for this past year.
I thought too. And then someone was on there, of course, going,
Impact too.
Yeah, that's why I said that. That's just Kelly got me. Kelly got
Samoa Joe on there, Carmelo, Claudio's your ROH World Champ, Sonata's the New Japan Champ, Bryan Danielson, Ospreay, and I think that's Lashley, Alexander Hammerstone's MLW, I believe, and Trey Miguel 20. Is that who Trey? That's the only Trey I could think of. I only see 20 in Trey. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking that's Trey Miguel. Yeah, it does say Impact under his name. So that's the rest of the top 20. And like you said, when we see more of the list to come out, and I do kind of want to have the magazine. I miss having them. That's how I started e-fedding. Ordered one of these little cheap belts off of there. I remember you can order all kinds of weird memorabilia from. We didn't have like a WWF store or nothing.
You had to mail away.
We didn't have eBay or internet, basically.
You mailed your credit card number and then said a prayer.
Let's get into the 6 topics for the week here.
All right.
Technically 7 because we added the when I woke up this morning and saw PWA 500 dropped, I knew we'd have to at least talk about it. The biggest news this week though has to be Raw, the final Raw under the wing of Mr. McMahon, technically, and the Endeavor sale completed. We now have TKO, both UFC and WWE. They said they want to do some like weekends where like Smackdown rolls into a pay-per-view on Saturday, rolls into a PLE on Sunday. I like that idea. Mm-hmm. I heard stuff like, hey, when a UFC fighter is done, he may have a few years in him where he could wrestle. So that could be a transition. You see, I don't see a lot of WWE going to UFC though, but What do you think about the finalizing, the merger, and what may be in the future as we're all future endeavored, so to speak?
It is done. Like I said, the thing that everybody has been looking forward to, well, not really looking forward to, but like how can I put it? Anticipating? We'll say it like that. Has finally come true. Vince McMahon is only owns 13% now. 13%.
Here's a guy who owns 13% of WrestleSense, Mr. Oh, jeez.
13.
So, all we talked about so far, Ray, was the PWI 500. Our boy Rev got back on it again, and the top. Real quick, let's go back and
in it. A couple other local guys.
Do you have any issue with the top 10 at all, Ray? I don't.
Please say it. Please say it, because I know you're going to say it. Don't let me down.
Yeah, I definitely have a few issues.
I would move some around, but I don't know if this might be my top 10.
Who's your number one? Who's your number one, DH? Come on. Don't let me down.
Orange Cassidy.
You know what? There's a strong case for him to be in the top 5. I guarantee that.
Yeah, that's
not top 8.
Yep.
For me, number 1 is MJF.
Oh,
like
I said Gunther.
I'm not taking anything away from Gunther. Honestly, I would probably have Gunther 2, Seth 3, Cody 4, and 5. And here's why. MJF has been the most complete worker this year, hands down. Now, I'm not taking anything away from Roman Reigns, but Reigns has been beyond part-time this year. He's barely fucking worked.
True.
Now, granted, I mean, what he's done has been great. But to me, MJF has been the most complete worker. He's had some of the best storylines, best promos. The matches with Danielson, the matches with Cole have been fucking phenomenal. His tag team run and the entertainment side of it has been fucking phenomenal. That, to me, when you're talking about a pro wrestler, we're not just talking about in-ring work.
Yeah,
we're talking about the whole fucking package. He is the total fucking package right now, and it has been the best year of his career. To me, number 1. Number 2, yeah, I mean, like I said, that would be my top 5. MJF, Seth, or Orange, Seth, Gunther, and Cody. The only thing Gunther lacks right now for me, it's not in-ring work. His in-ring work is fucking phenomenal. But the only thing, and it's starting to come to fruition over last little run, was his promo work.
That slipped out.
His promo work, and it's not that it's bad, it's serviceable. But honestly, in this Gable feud has showed his best promo work to date.
These the other guys at Imperium too to do some of the talking. So, but that's a fair point.
That's the thing. I think they've leaned on that a little too much, and we haven't seen Gunther be. We're starting to see it now. He's talking about, but no, now he's talking about his legacy. Now he's putting doubt into people. Like, that was the only weak part of his game to me that they leaned a little too much on, but now that's coming to fruition now. So if we're talking about next year, I can't wait to see what he does, but that was the only weak part of his game where I feel like these other guys are a little bit above him.
But the thing is, you gotta look at it like this. I mean, you go back, like, I'm looking at movies even, like Rocky IV. Look at that. Ivan Drago rarely said a word and was just badass.
I don't think he's saying he needs to talk all the time.
The thing is, like, Gunther doesn't have to talk because he got his 2 goons to do it for him. All he has to do is go in there and beat ass. I mean, that's all. That's just my first.
You're right. He doesn't have to talk as much.
I'm just saying that I think now they're starting to, like, trust him that way. Now he's starting to show that a little more, and I think that's going to make him an even better character. Like I said, in my opinion, work rate, he's still top 5 guaranteed.
Gotcha.
And
what do you think about this?
You can't knock Cody. Right now, Cody may be one of the top. He's top 5 in promos. Obviously, he's top 5 in popularity. And his match work ever since, honestly, like the second year of AEW has been phenomenal. Now, Cody's never going to be the guy that puts on a 5-star athletic banger, but he knows how to tell a story in the ring. He knows psychology.
I don't know. That match with Roman was 5 stars for me. I mean,
it was great. I'm not, like I said, but he's not all the flash and shit. He's a traditional professional wrestler, but he does it on a fucking high level, nonstop.
I see a couple things in the chat we will get to. Don't worry, folks. Is some other news that we will get to. But Ray, I want your take on the conglomerate now that is TKO, and We'll get to a couple specifics after this that some of the effect. There's already rumors they're telling all the employees in WWE headquarters to work from home tomorrow because there will be layoffs. And they say employees, so that shouldn't count the talent, I don't think. But I think there's going to be talent losses too. So what's your take on the whole merger and where it's headed now, Ray, after it's finalized?
All right, well, I'm going to take the pro wrestling hat off for a minute and go to the business side of it. So in anything like this, it's going to be trimming the fat. So I guarantee that UFC and WWE have a bunch of people that do the exact same job.
Yes.
And I'm sure that in those departments there's assistants, there's et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So this is not like a surprise thing. They knew this was coming. They were probably forewarned about this. They were probably told, there's going to be shakeups, but obviously you're not going to come out and tell people start looking for another job.
Yeah.
But this is what this is going to be now. This new conglomerate, the new board of directors, which they just announced, everybody is going to sit down and look at, okay, our head of media relations for UFC and your head of media relations for WWE, can they handle TKO as a whole? Or do we need to just keep both assistants, cut one of these big salary positions and only have one head of media relations, but now we'll have two assistant head of media relations instead of just one, blah, blah, blah. So they can see where to trim the fat. And that's going to happen for a while. You're going to hear about a lot of internal corporate releases just because there's a lot of redundancy in two businesses that are merging, and honestly, two businesses that are fairly similar. Yeah. While the product on screen is vastly different, they're both touring sports, multimedia entertainment companies. It's the same fucking thing. So it's going to be a lot of redundancy. It's going to be a lot of stuff where they can kind of scale down. Some stuff they might keep both people right now until they see who suits the job better, who handles the job better. Some they might cut right away. Some people are just going to get changes of titles and might do different shit and things like that. Like with Triple H, for instance, we all know he's staying head of creative, but 6 months ago he was on the board of directors. Now he's not.
Yeah.
And it's not because of any other reason. Then they have to fit other people from the other company in. He was low man on the totem pole. He already has other responsibilities, et cetera, et cetera. There's going to be a lot of that trimming of the fat with this. As far as layoffs coming for wrestlers, it's 100% inevitable.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, we saw in the last – normally we get a huge cut down after WrestleMania every year where 20, 30 people lose their job. And we really haven't got that. You've had some contracts expire, some people asked for release, but there hasn't been a massive cut down. And I think that was kind of by design because now, both companies are going to be looking at the overall and they're going to set budgets. They're going to set projections. That's what businesses do. So they're going to set a talent budget of like, we'd like to be somewhere in this area. Maybe this year we're spending, $60 million on talent contracts. We'd like to be somewhere around 50. So we need to trim the fat a little bit. UFC might be spending X amount. We want to trim the fat down to here. Maybe they give them a bump and say, we can spend this much more money, but who's stale? Who do we need to cycle out? What do we need to do? Blah, blah, blah. And all of those things are going to happen. Honestly, while this is official today and we're going to see some stuff about it, you're going to see some streamlining. I've heard they're talking about a pay-per-view deal where you can get bundle deals to watch everything. I really wouldn't be surprised if the network model comes back with some kind of combined thing where UFC and WWE is all on the same maybe app or network once their deal expires. Because right now they have a deal with Disney and Disney Plus to bundle with ESPN. And
we're going to talk to that for a second before we get. That's our next slide. So I do want your take on that. But do you think this will affect the WWE TV product? I don't think it will that much.
No, not at all.
No.
Okay.
It's only going to be back. It's only going to be back end stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So
especially H in charge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
H is still head of creative.
So here's the word.
That's what I was going to say. Is I don't think that. I don't think that even though this is official today, I don't think this will actually settle down and everything in the background will start running as in normalcy for probably another year to 18 months.
Yeah.
Because there's just going to be a lot of moving parts and a lot of changing. I mean, Doc and I've been through corporate buyouts. We worked for a cellular company when we were a lot younger that bought another cellular company, and we went, and believe me, it's a clusterfuck behind the scenes. And for those of us,
imagine the scale of this.
Yeah, and this is and that was not a $1 billion buyout like this is. So
yeah. So here's the thing with SmackDown, the rights for Fox coming up, and it looks like they want less money for the same thing. So now you're hearing, like Ray said, the possibility of the Disney, which would put them on ESPN. I think that's the more viable than having it streaming on Amazon, like they were doing Thursday night football games last year they did on Amazon Prime and stuff. So then Prime, you got to pay, I think it was $15 a month, as opposed to what the network was never more than $9.99. So it's weird. It's a weird transition we're gonna have. The ripple effect's gonna take a long time, like Ray said too. Go ahead, Ray.
Well, you're saying less money, but I actually don't agree with you. So yes, Fox paid crazy for the rights, but Amazon is trying to build their own network.
Fox is asking for less money to keep it on Fox.
It's not going to be on Fox.
Which that's why I think it's definitely going somewhere else.
Yeah, I 100%. So Disney owns Hulu and ESPN.
Yeah.
So
ESPN.
I could definitely see it going onto the Hulu, Disney, or ESPN app. I could definitely see Bezos overpaying for it and pairing that with, like you said, Thursday Night Football. I feel like WWE in the past has always wanted to maintain, that over-the-air broadcast TV.
Yeah.
That's what they always wanted. But however, TKO, I think you've seen that UFC doesn't give two shits about that. No. They stream a shit ton of their fights on ESPN Plus, which is a lower priced thing, and then they still have their pay-per-view model. So
but UFC's never been on regular network TV on a long basis. Like WWE has been
on Spike for a while. They had a deal.
But not for a long time.
What was the one before Spike though? TNN? Yeah, then they do TNN. And it was the thing is about this, like I can't see Disney doing SmackDown. I can't see them having like.
I see them putting it on Hulu. If they
could you imagine if they put Mickey on guest commentary? There'd be a big body slam here.
Yeah, that would be. The crossovers would be funny. Well, here's another. These are just rumors as of right now. Discussing new title scheme possibility. The first thing I heard was a trios title. The second thing, which I really hope they don't do, is weight categories again. Heavyweight, middleweight, lightweight, cruiserweight.
You mean the cruiserweight? I doubt they do that. I feel like that they're going to do. If anything, they are going to get a trios going because they see how well it does with AEW.
Well,
unify the fucking tag titles, if anything.
AEW is the only, WWE is the only major company that doesn't have a trios title.
True.
New Japan has a trios title. AEW,
TNA, I think, or excuse me, Impact. I think they had one for. Yeah.
Well, let's get to the topic. Everyone already in the chat's been clapping about. Our second topic is big returns. We saw Jade Cargill return, and now spoiler alert, if you don't want to know, turn it off for a couple of seconds. She fights Statlander tomorrow night and loses, and apparently a lot of people are saying she's done. Now there's contradicting evidence saying that she may not be done, but 99% of the people out there are putting her in WWE, guaranteed in the future, blah, blah, blah. So we'll start with Ray on this one. Is she going to stay? Is she going to go? Is there any word, or what do you think about overall?
All I've heard is the contract is up or close to being up, and that yes, WWE has massive interest.
Of course.
To me, if you're Jade Cargill, Jesus Christ, can't talk.
Or Cargill.
If you're Jade Cargill, I don't think you leave. I would sign another 2 or 3 year contract. You're still green as shit. But you're in a position in AEW that you are not going to be in WWE. While I think WWE would do great things with her, they know she needs a shit ton of seasoning. They're going to put her in developmental. They're going to put her in NXT. They're going to make sure she's seasoned. Whereas if she stays in AEW, she's going to be prominently on television. Tony Khan is going to pay out the ass to keep her. Yeah. And he should. I mean, he's built a legitimate star here, but he got all of the star build, but now you're going to lose the rub. So he did all the work, the 60-0, making this star. And now it's time for her to walk before you have her really as a star. That's why I think that she resigns for 2 to 3 years. But I think when she is ready to walk to WWE, that door is going to be wide open because she is a fucking star. She is a prototypical superstar. She is exactly what WWE would and should want. I mean, she's a fucking specimen. She's gotten better and better in the ring. She's a decent promo, and she's only going to get better at that. But she looks like $1 million. She's a former pro athlete. I mean, she's what you would expect WWE to build.
Yeah, she wants to do movies and stuff too, from what I've heard and everything. And more power.
And that might be another reason for AEW to pitch to her, like, look, we'll give you the time if you get these opportunities outside.
Exactly.
The WWE is not going to give her.
What about you, Jade Cargill? Anything?
I just feel like she's gonna get lost in the shuffle if she goes. I feel like there's gonna be that. Oh, let's put you in NXT, and then let's go ahead and we're gonna call you Green McFiddlefaddle.
Yeah, what are they gonna call her?
You know, like it's gonna be some good shit. You know, like I just.
Jiminy
it's what it is.
Cargill.
But then again, I do trust Triple H with her. You know, I think Triple H would be a great mentor.
It wouldn't even be Triple H getting her, honestly.
If we knew
Michaels, it'd be Michaels. Yeah. Pardon me.
But the other rumors I've heard from a lot of people saying through the grapevines that she would go straight to the main roster. But I don't know if she's physically, like even both you guys put out, physically ready to go to the main roster. Look wise, decent promo. She had a little better than ring the last couple fights, but. Let's talk about the other one. I don't really care.
Let's be honest. If you put her in the ring with Charlotte, can she hold her own? Not
right now. She showed signs of getting better towards the end there. That's why I think, like you guys are saying, keep her there for a couple years. Let her really get to the potential she can. Let's talk about the other return. I don't really care.
She's not like most girls, though.
I saw Stevie Richards did a review of this, and he already pointed out a bunch of really dangerous shit she did to Rhea that didn't need to be done for her to show up and do this angle.
The stupid leg drop?
Yeah, ringside, the smacking her in the face at the end because you just took out a heel. I mean, and you're coming in as a face or a heel, but I mean, I've never seen – I get it. They want to get someone big to face Rhea, blah, blah, blah. This is dangerous if you ask me, and I think she's – I don't want to say anybody's trash. The potential of her under Triple H's guidance also maybe a little monsterish better, but – I don't give two shits about Nia Jax. Why would people? You think Kairi Sane's going to come back now? If I was Kairi, I'd be like, she's ready to sign. Now, like, fuck that. I ain't going back and working with that bitch again. But I mean, did she get better? Does she not do the things she did before? Already, she's doing shit she probably shouldn't have done. She could have hurt Rhea with that stupid move at the end. And all you have to do is make your comeback. You don't. I mean. Did she go and do her own like she did with Charlotte? Was the paddling of the face, was that part of it? Or did she just add that shit? That's what you get with Nia Jax is you don't know. Is she going to go and do her own? Or do they have her reined in this time? Will it work? I don't know. I don't really care. But I get why. I get the why.
Doc, you want to go first?
All I'm going to say is, she's back. Let's see what happens.
I'm going to be too negative if I keep going.
Well, you already went on a rant. That's why I didn't want to stop you. But look, as far as Nia being dangerous, a little bit, yeah. Let's be honest, though. Who is she seriously injured? So she broke Becky's nose. That shit happens. Okay? And honestly,
and then the Flair thing, the Charlotte thing, they just started beating the shit. They went into their own.
But let's be honest about Becky Lynch. That was the best fucking thing for Becky Lynch's career.
It turned her into the man. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that ever happened. So, yeah, you want, like, literally shit happens. CJ has fucking busted me open before. Yeah. And that's my best fucking friend.
And I'm not talking just injuries because I don't like using the injury crutch. You could fall down your steps and get hurt.
Yeah, now, like I said, so, I mean, shit happens. Now, does she go into business for herself sometimes? I do think that. Obviously, we saw the Charlotte and her beat the shit out of each other. But, again, that is one of those things where who knows who started that? That could have been Charlotte, like, imposing her will and Nia Jax saying, fuck off, or vice versa. And Charlotte's not going to take it, and whatever the case may be. But that was a two-way street. And we've seen with Charlotte and Becky that Charlotte does that shit too. So, you can't place all that blame on Nia. As far as her coming back with Rhea is not a heel. Rhea may be part of a heel faction. But
she's more of an anti-hero.
Yeah. Rhea gets babyface response. There's tons of mommy shirts and signs. Everyone loves her. So bringing Nia back as a beast heel, at least it lends some believability. You have a former women's champion at Nia Jax. She's a fucking hoss, even though, like, I'm not saying that in a negative way.
No.
But she power for power. It's not somebody Rhea's going to be able to throw around. And I think they're just playing into that loose cannon shit. I 100% think the slaps to the face, the shit is all scripted by Triple H. I think he's going to have total reign.
Which would be great if it is. Reign
but I think that's going to be the character, is that she's a loose cannon, because Triple H has shown that he will book to what the internet kind of puts out there, that he's a smart fan. You know what I'm saying? So
I don't want to waste time on this bitch. That's all.
All I'm saying is the internet thinks she's dangerous, so let's make her fucking dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, if they, like I said, it may work. I'm not knocking it. I get it, but it's not for me at all. Another thing that has not been for me recently, and I've been vocal about it, get a lot of shit for it, has been the bloodline. It's confusing, and so I don't want to waste a lot of time on this either. But I just want, like, at the top of the bloodline angle, it's a 10. It's an 11. It was amazing. Right now, it's a little stale because they split things up. I get it. I still think the end game is them all coming together. So all I want from you guys is, at the present time, seeing that the top of the bloodline would be a 10, where do you rank that storyline right now, knowing it's not over, between 1 and 10? 10 being when it was at its height. Doc, where would you put the bloodline angle right now, currently? From
6.
1 to 6. What about you, Ray?
3.
I'm really low because I want it to be better. Not that I'm a hater. I just want it to be better. I don't want to dwell on it.
I agree with you. I mean, that's the best thing I can say is I agree with you. Like, it's in a lull right now. I can see in booking me a way forward to make it really good again. But we just got to kind of wait and see what happens. Like, I feel like it's like we're in the story right now in between the second and third act, in my opinion, where, like, it seems like all hope is lost and everything's over. You know what I mean? Like if you were watching an Avengers movie, this is the point where the good guys are down, the bad guys won. There's, you're just like, it's kind of like that calm where it's like, what the fuck's even going on right now?
Yeah. It's in a wait and see mode. I get it.
To me, the next evolution is to bring the other Samoan kids in.
Yes, please.
And since Jimmy wanted back in, is to put him back in, but make him the bitch of the group. And make him go down and out until eventually Jay comes back and they form the Usos again and blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of the... This will tie right into the fourth topic. Because I don't want to go into it too deep, but, like, I can see a way forward to make it really fucking entertaining again. But we'll see what happens.
I'm going to talk about plans for Survivor Series here in a minute, and that will continue that talk a little bit. But first, let's get a meat division in the AEW, bro. Jesus. I can name 8 more to put on top of that, even if it was just a tournament. They got some meat.
No.
What? No what?
No,
you don't want a meat tournament?
No meat.
I want a meat tournament.
There's already a meat.
Smacking meat. Come on, we want some meat smackers all day long. Tell me that wouldn't be crazy to have. Even a 20-man rumble with a battle royal with all the big guys in there.
Hold on. I didn't say bode. I said no.
Because you got a bunch of other ones. And then you put, like, John Silver in there. Because
Blaze wants an AEW meat division. Meaty men in a division. What do you think? Come here. You want to see who's all in it?
I had this slide a couple days ago. They brought this up on Fightful last night after AEW, and I was like, yes, I'm not the only one. I want a meat division.
You want a meat division, Bodie?
Yeah.
Fucking terrible.
Okay, yeah. Bodie wants it. Bodie's with you.
Meat.
We'll put that in the next section.
Meat.
Bodie's bookings. There's going to be a meat battle royal. How about that for everybody to view?
Obviously,
make it happen
on Survivor Series. These are 2 ridiculous ideas because I don't see how some of them come together. Obviously, you got Judgment Day with Bloodline against Bobby with his boys, and then just 2 of the OC, and then you have Jay versus Jimmy, with they each get their own team, which I kind of see this one maybe awesome. More so because they're still going to go Jimmy Jay at Mania, right?
Yeah, definitely. You're not going to see that match till WrestleMania.
What would you do? So the question is, tying 3 and 4 together, what would you do with your Survivor Series, which is probably going to be War Games, to tie this bloodline story together and keep it going?
I would have it as far from War Games as possible.
I'm already hearing it's going to be War Games. I hope it's
anything. If you're going to do anything for Jay and Jimmy, because they're on 2 separate brands now, it's a whole separate thing.
Traditional Survivor Series
would be to do the traditional Survivor Series match, but do it Raw versus SmackDown, and those 2 happen to be on SmackDown's team and Raw's team, and we get this, the standoff in the middle thing. Maybe they're, one of the last 2. Maybe they start the match, whatever. That would be the only way that I would want to see them involved in a Survivor Series match. There's too many other good factions and too many other good possibilities. Like Bobby Lashley's faction is just starting out. Yeah. But we also have the OC. We have the Judgment Day. There's a lot of possibilities there, not to mention Brawling Brutes and the Viking Raiders. I mean, there's a lot of undercard possibilities to make a really cool Survivor Series match, or a couple of them, hopefully.
What a meat Survivor Series match. All meat.
For fuck's sake.
I give up.
But I mean, Doc, what do you think? Would you do anything with Survivor Series to kind of keep the bloodline thing going? I mean, I agree. I'd like to see 3 traditional Survivor Series matches if we could.
I'm
Doc,
good.
what about you?
I'm good. Just maybe 1 or 2, but
okay.
Fair
enough. It's going to all lead to the same kind of spot.
I've said this for I don't know how many years. I wish they would go back to like the old format where it was all Survivor Series matches, and then the final match was the Ultimate Survivors match, where all the winners from all the matches are in one match and blah blah blah. Like it was just more of a fun gimmick to me than just this is new blood. This is Backlash, this is whatever, but we'll have 1 Survivor Series match to throw back. Like, I think they should go all the way back to those things. Like, I miss the traditional King of the Ring.
Me too. I begged for it last year, but I knew with War Games we might not get it, and we didn't get it. So this one's going to be interesting. Before we get into the 5th topic, let's talk about the AEW Women's Champion real quick. Saraya versus the cameraman, and Saraya responds with, "Yeah, I don't trust men with cameras."
That was hilarious. That was good.
Showing her sense of humor after all these years from the little incident from back in the day. I love that. I fucking love her. I'm sorry. I don't care if she's not that great of a wrestler anymore. I fucking love her. Let's talk ladies.
Not bad.
What do you think about this? Becky goes to NXT. She beats the upstart Tiffany Stratton, who's got pretty much everything going. And your new women's champion is Becky, who is now a Grand Slam champion. A lot of people were shitting on it, saying that they're wasting Tiffany Stratton, but I think more eyes now are on Stratton and NXT than before. They went over 1 million people on the overrun for her on SmackDown. I mean NXT, and NXT was 8,500 last week.
Well, another thing too, you got to look at Becky Lynch. She's holding them all, and the only other the male to do it is Seth Rollins. So it's kind of like they're the first couple to hold all the belts. So they kind of wanted to do that too also. But I feel like they wanted to do this for Becky so Becky could say, hey, I've held every title. Let's see where we go from here. I feel like the man is going to be winning the Royal Rumble this year.
So, Ray, what about you? Becky going down to NXT. I mean, we've seen it with other stars going down to NXT. I don't have a problem with it, but there's a lot of people out there that say it's ruining NXT and taking shine from the young guys and girls.
That I totally disagree with.
Me too.
Look, they have an internal goal from what I've heard, which is to beat AEW in the key demographic, the 18.
This week.
So, I like them bringing stars down here. Like, honestly, I'm excited about Braun and Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be fun. I have no problem with Becky beating her. Tiffany Stratton, when she won the title, when we called it on here, I called it on here about her winning the title.
Yep. And
I said that they want to put it on her because they see a star in her, but that she's green and not really ready. She's done pretty well with the belt since they've got it. But she's not 100% ready. And this is a great rub for her because she lost the match, but I feel like this is Tiffany's going to be the one to take it back from Becky.
Yeah.
After a little while. So it's just another big rub for her that then she'll be able. Becky now has the clout to say I was NXT Women's Champion. Tiffany's going to have the clout to say I beat Becky Lynch for the title, not just I won a tournament because somebody got hurt.
Well, people always shit on me because of my take here, and I hate double champions. And if I'm going to say that in WWE, I can say the same. And AEW having the ROH World Champion too. I want 1 world champion for my show, so. Her winning the SmackDown and Raw, I get it. It's all Grand Slam. Moving on before I go back to my stupid rants. Fastlane, we'll talk more about when we get closer to it, but it's hyping up to be these are all speculated matches that we're seeing, possible that we're going to see. Some of them I think we're definitely going to see, but I don't know, it has hype to be a pretty decent show. I don't see any title changes though here, I guess is where I'm at. As much as I'd love to see Shinsuke do it, I'd love to, even though Gunther, I mean, Chad Gable, the story's great with Gable right now. If he does end up taking it, I wouldn't be mad. What about you? You guys?
No, absolutely not. Because I'd like to see Gable do it and then have Gunther win the Rumble.
Yeah.
And I think you're onto something with that, Doc, because I feel like, okay, he got the honky tonk record.
Yep.
Which was what I feel like they really wanted to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if Gable beats him now, with how many months we have left until the Rumble, we could see Gunther go on a rampage. You know what I mean? Where I've lost my title, blah, 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 and he's just literally destroying people. And now it becomes I want the world title, but, he never gets to the world title. You've had him undefeated for so long, and it's been a great storyline. It's been one of the best IC title runs. He's put on phenomenal matches. So I feel like Gable could take that from him now, and it would help establish Chad as a single star, and it would give you Gunther the reason, other than just, yes, eventually he wants to be world champion, but give him the reason to like move from the IC title to the world title and want to do that. And I absolutely 100% agree with you. I think he should be the Royal Rumble winner. I think he should be challenging Seth for the world title at Mania. It's what I want to see.
Yeah, agreed. I don't think. I mean, he's done. I think he has, like you said, done enough. He's got that. He'll forever be the longest reigning. Well, until someone breaks it, if they ever do. But let's switch gears to AEW here. Talk about last night's show first, and then talk a little bit about next week's Grand Slam. I don't even know where to start. Samoa Joe won, and he's going to face MJF. We did kind of predict that.
Can we just flat out say that this is the best Samoa Joe we've seen in a decade?
The way he destroyed him at the end, and the anger and him, yeah, I was like, yes, it's old school Samoa Joe. I love it.
The promo war between him and MJF last week was fucking phenomenal. I know I wasn't on here. I fell asleep.
We didn't even talk about
2 in the morning. So I spaced the podcast because I was sleeping in my chair. But legit, man, Samoa Joe has been money, especially since this return from filming Twisted Metal. Like, I've loved I loved him back in AEW, getting to be him again. But since he's come back and had a focus now as a top star, from when he hurt Roddy with the violence, initially, the matches and promos with Punk, and then obviously you could tell that they had a storyline probably in place for Punk and MJF, and that was obviously kiboshed. So they're stepping Joe up into that spot and playing into the history with him and MJF. That promo war last week was great. The promo last night was great. And like you said, the fucking intensity that Joe brings when he choked Adam Cole out on the ramp, and he looks like he's in phenomenal fucking shape.
I'm gonna take everything from you. It was great.
And it's just, I'm so in on it. So in on it.
Hey, you know who else? I mean, he was in the meat picture, but Big Bill impressed me in that match with Moxley, man. That dude's when he used Moxley's blood,
totally.
He used Moxley's blood as lipstick and stuff. It was hilarious. I mean, he could be funny as a big guy, dominant as a big guy.
I really like the pairing of him with Starks.
Yeah, I think it was Sean Rossap that said, or it might have been someone else that said they're going to mess around and have to put a title on Big Bill at some time if he keeps this up. I wouldn't be mad at it, Toni Storm won to lead into her match, so we'll go right into next Wednesdays. Is basically what Clash of Champions should be, in my opinion. You got a bunch of big matches. They just added the Sting and Darby match with Christian and Lucha, which I was like, why are they doing that again? Could it possibly be either the arrival or a hint at Adam Copeland? Christian did say, well, my normal partner's not here tonight. My normal partner's not with me anymore. And I'm sure, he said, what do you mean? I'm talking about Luchasaurus. I like the little digs. Will we see? I guess the big question is next week. I think we see one big arrival. I think we see Mercedes and then set up Mercedes versus Saraya for Wrestle
Dream. You injured me. You injured, I injured you once. Now I'm going to injure you again. Take your title.
So you could take that whole thing. Do we see Edge and Mercedes next week, or do we see either? Do we see both?
Both would be overhaul because you could really skyrocket 2 shows. Like
tease the Edge and bring him in Wrestle Dream, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like have the lights go. Why not?
September 21st.
Edge said that. Now that's not confirmed. They even said that on Fightful last night. They said Edge has come out and said he's still under contract till the end of the month, but it's not proven by
everything I've heard is September 21st, which that would be
because
Thursday.
He's saying that. But if you want someone to believe you're not going to show up at a show, why not say it?
But I heard September 21st prior to his live and all that shit. So
yeah. We'll see. I mean,
I would love to be wrong. I mean, trust me.
I would pop big time for it.
Yeah.
Plus the matches you think they can have one last run and maybe fight each other at first. What about the Mercedes thing?
I mean, I could see it happening. Like I said, I think that, you go there and like they're doing all these back things. Like look at MJF and Samoa Joe. You pushed me. Now I injured you. I put you out of where we were before. I'm going to put you out of here now, and I'm going to take your belt.
How does Samoa Joe not beat MJF though? Something's got to happen to Samoa Joe. Like, does Roderick Strong have, and them boys have something to do with it? Why MJF ends up winning? Maybe Samoa Joe at this point should destroy MJF.
If you're gonna take the belt off of him, this would be a good way to do it, because, like you said, you have Roddy in the Kingdom. That's been kind of the tweeter storyline, with Adam Cole kind of in the middle. So them doing, MJF doing Steiner math last night was fucking fun.
Yeah, he did it flawlessly too, man. Like he's been doing that for years.
But yeah, I mean, if Roddy and the Kingdom interfered, and then Cole comes out and tries to stop them, and then they get, some stupid shit happens, and Joe ends up winning, I have no problem with that, because then it takes MJF into, does he back up Cole? Does he go after the Kingdom, et cetera, et cetera? And we circle back around a little later. And I think Joe at this point, and I hate, as much as I just praised Joe, I hate to be the person that brings up, shit, but Joe has had an injury history. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
We've had start and stop pushes with him because of injury history. It's why he never really got pushed. Although he was never supposed to even make the main roster in WWE, and they were just forced to because he's so fucking good. But like when he was signed, he was told he wasn't. It was kind of like a Kevin Owens thing. Oh, you're not going to make the main roster. We're signing you for NXT, and then he ended up having some main event matches.
I think they have to do something big at this show, though. I mean, there's only 6,000 tickets sold from what I'm hearing right now, and
I think that was the addition of Sting.
And attendance is way down, so I mean,
they're trying to pop.
They got to do something big, yeah.
But like I said, I agree. Like, also, to do
it's a free show.
To do better business, popping a big title change on TV helps ratings. There's no doubt about that. Samoa Joe right now is hot as fuck, not only because of the Twisted Metal show that he was just on that has been critically acclaimed. He's, like I said, he's doing the best work of his career, in my opinion.
What about Eddie? What about Eddie Kingston?
You're going to do it.
He could take the ROH title off of Claudio.
He better.
I really think he should at this point. I mean, is he going to give the new? Because it's title for title. Someone's leaving there with 2 belts.
Yeah, it needs to be Eddie.
It makes more sense for Eddie because he could hold on to. He earned that New Japan title.
Mm-hmm.
Claudio didn't go to New Japan, so I kind of think Eddie might win that one. And what do you guys think about some people have been knocking the Jericho Sammy buddy story now, where they think they should be at each other's throats going into this match. Not we're going to be tag team. Is it too much like the MJF Adam Cole thing, or no?
See, I don't think. I think this is more of the teacher and student type thing.
Okay, fair. Should they be mad at each other, hating each other, or do you mind that they're?
I was shitting on it, to be honest, until last night. I think the promo last night made that make sense. Of, I've been with you for 4 years. I'm trying to establish myself as a main eventer, and beating you is how I do it. And Jericho saying, I want you to beat me. I want you to ascend, but I'm not going to roll over for you. I love that. It's taking logic and putting it into wrestling, which sometimes we all know logic goes devoid of booking. There's wrestling logic and there's logic. The storyline makes sense of like, okay, we've had you've been mad at me a little bit. I've been mad at you a little bit. I'm questioning myself a little bit and need to step up. You're trying to make the step up. So let's just get it all out in the open. Let's punch each other in the face.
Everything you just said, you can apply to MJF and Adam Cole when they started too. That's what I'm saying. I want it to separate.
Not necessarily, because
everything
there was no
you just said, you could put to the Adam
Cole
Cole
thing.
They were buddy. They were at each other's throats.
Thing though, that wasn't that.
What differentiates it? That's what I want to know, Ray. What
the mentor-mentee teacher type student?
That is fair.
Of the main difference in the two storylines is like, okay, whenever they were fighting for the world title at All In, it was I love you.
That's why I'm asking him, Solo, because he can break it down. Go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, I love you. It's gonna be, I'm willing. I want you to have the title shot because I think you deserve it. But the best man's gonna win. Hopefully, this doesn't destroy us. That's not the Jericho and Sammy thing. The Jericho and Sammy thing is Jericho right now, after losing to Will Ospreay, after losing these matches, is questioning himself. Okay. Sammy Guevara is trying to break that glass ceiling. He's flirted with the main event, but he's not getting there.
True.
And to Sammy, he feels like Jericho's trying to hold him down and keep him in a tag team. Jericho feels like Sammy is thinking that his entire motivation is wrong, and this is the way they hash it out. And like I said, Jericho made it make sense last night where he said, like, I want you to be that main eventer. I want you to be great. I want you to beat me, but I just can't let you do it. You're going to have to do it for yourself. And then we can go win tag team titles once this is out of the way. Once we prove that either you're not ready yet or you are ready yet. Once Jericho proves that either I'm still that guy or I've lost a step, like they both have something to prove to themselves in that match. And it just so happens they need to do it together so that they can move forward together or walk away.
So we got 4 title matches in our screen here. How many title changes do you see in those 4? Doc? You got Moxley and Phoenix for the international, Saraya and Tony for the women's, Claudio, Eddie, and then Joe and MJF. Out of those 4 title matches, how many title changes? I'm saying 2. No, I'm saying 1. I'm just saying Eddie.
So you think Eddie beats Claudio and has both of those belts?
Yeah, because it doesn't make sense for Claudio to have a New Japan belt unless he's been fighting over there. Or unless they already have him planned to go fight and defend it. Makes more sense for Eddie to finally get that world title.
I say 2. I say Eddie, and I do think Joe beats him.
You think Joe can? Yeah,
I think Joe becomes like the Clubber Lang to MJF's Rocky.
Ray? Just the 1 or 2?
No, I'm going with 2. I do think Eddie beats Claudio. Eddie-O. Did I say Eddie-O?
Eddie-O!
I do think Eddie beats Claudio. You also have Wrestle Dream coming up. So if they did put the belt on Claudio, he could re-lose it at Wrestle Dream on American soil and not have to go over there. But I think Eddie beats him. I think it's the natural resolution. And I also think with
New Japan Strong is in the States.
With Daniel Bryan, though, kind of ascending in Collision to have to take that Punk spot. We saw the BCC last night almost act as baby faces.
True.
For part of the night. Like, I think there's a change coming for the BBC. Jesus fuck.
Ray's got BBC on his mind, folks.
For the BCC, I think there's a change coming. There might be an internal thing coming there. Some kind of storyline coming there. So I think Eddie wins that. And then they've been playing the MJF neck injury since before All In.
Yeah, true.
They played it off of All In, everything. It makes too much sense. And like I said, strike while the iron's hot with Joe. Give him the chance. Let him run with the ball. Do it, man. Just fucking do it. And MJF does not need the belt right now to be as over as he is. It doesn't matter if he walks out without that belt the following week. The fans are going to pop crazy for him. They still love him and Cole.
I don't see MJF lose it. What if MJF loses it, wins it on December 31st?
There's still the ROH Tag Team Champions.
That's true, too. Yep.
So put it on Joe, man.
It's going to be an interesting show. I'm hyped about it for a Wednesday night show. This is what I think. I say Clash of Champions earlier. What they call the Battle of the Belts should be more like this. Like, these are big time matches. This is like a pay-per-view on TV. I'm down for it. That's about it. We got a lot of things to talk about in the future, but we also have a big RWA show coming up here, Doc, this weekend. What's going down on the RWA show?
It's gonna be just nothing but chaos, man. Like I said, J-Rock taking on Jason Hendricks. Jason Hendricks making his RWA debut. We got the rematch. Gory taking on Johnny Patch. These two have they've had wars, teacher versus student, basically, when you look into that one. John McChesney will be in action. We don't know who. Oh, yeah, he's taking on Damian Chambers. That's his right. So there's that one. That's going to be a good one. I do not know who.
Rad Boys versus Runway for the tag titles.
Oh, yeah, that is right, because in the Battle Royal, if you eliminated somebody from said tag team, you have an opportunity. So the Rad Boys have an opportunity against the Runway, who, like I will say it over and over again, one of the most dangerous and smartest tag teams in Pittsburgh, independent right now.
Rev defended his belt against Patrick Hayes.
That is right. Patrick Hayes will be. I didn't have anything in front of me. I thought you were going to do a little music thing, and I had everything. But yeah, like Patrick Hayes won the Battle Royal. which means the winner got to take on the RW Heavyweight Championship. However, Ron Hunt has already played mind games, talked Patrick Hayes into defending his No Limits title after going through 30 men, and then him losing it to the Shadow Man Elijah, which Shadow Man Elijah, you kid, you deserve it. I can't wait to see what you do with that title. So with the Rad Boys, both of them eliminated Tyler Klein at the same time from the runway, so they earn a number 1 contendership. However, waiting in the wings is Honey Badger, who eliminated Calvin Couture, and she and a partner of her choice get to take on the runway. And she knows a lot of mean characters. So if I'm the runway or I'm the Rad Boys, if the Rad Boys are successful, I am definitely watching my back, especially with Honey Badger having that number 1 contender shot. So it's going to be a good night Saturday. Please show up, West Newton, Pennsylvania, RWA.
INDYWrestling.us if you're not in the area. You can always subscribe there and catch the shows not too long after they start broadcasting those. And we started the show with the Rev Ron Hunt talking about him. Ended the show. We got to get him back on the show here. But let's... Ray, at the end of the day.
Fuck off.
Nice. Doc at the end of the day.
Enjoy pro wrestling and enjoy Mortal Kombat 1, which was released today.
At the end of the day, Nia Jax fucking sucks. She's fucking horrible. She's terrible. She can eat the corn out of my shit for all I care. Fuck her.
Dude.
Wow.
Fuck her. See you next week, bitches.
I feel like it's an Owen Wilson type response to that.
Wow. You know, if she watches this and fucks you up, I'm going to laugh.
Fuck her. Bring it on, Nia Jax.
Dude, she would use you like a dildo.
You got a point there.
On my chest. Give me a Cleveland steamer.
Oh, what the fuck has gotten into you tonight?
Yeah, seriously. What the hell?
Woo!
Someone needs to check Blaze's head.
I'm a therapist and I can't diagnose this shit.
At the end of the day, it gets dark. Thank you, Benita Applebaum. Oh, my referee. Yeah, baby.
I feel like you need that deduction for that.
Still, wow.
Fuck you, Nia Jax. You and JJ Rumham are on my shit list. Fuck
hey, you leave. Why, Jay? You leave JJ out of this.
He's been on my shit list. He said some bad things about me and my mom.
He didn't say anything bad about you.
He hurt my feelings. He was talking shit on me.
When?
The big mean bald guy. Talk mean stuff about my personal life.
I feel like Blaze needs a hug.
I need a blowjob, a hug, a reach
He needs a sedative.
Doggy
style. I was going to say a hug and some Xanax.
I know any whores. Any whores? Keep whores, anyone? Send them my way.
Where's the fucking ketchup picture so he shuts up?
Ketchup. Ketchup. Fuck you, Nia Jax! Eat shit and die, bitch!
Thank Christ.